We have been, as you know, saturating this neighborhood for the last 10 days with bodies, with men and women both in uniform as well as undercover. We, as you know, are dead serious about this. We intend to bring this guy to justice, and we intend to stay here as long as it takes. You probably have also seen the amount of manpower that we have out here in terms of our solid waste crews, of Tampa Electric Company, our Clean Cities teams that have been cutting the alleys, that have been boarding up vacant buildings. We are going to eliminate every bit of ground cover where somebody could potentially hide. We're cleaning up the canopies that are blocking some of the street lights. If any lights are out, we are replacing those lights. We're going to make this a place where nobody is going to be able to find cover or hide from us. We are going to shine a very, very bright light on this community and whoever it is that committed this crime. The neighborhood is involved. Many of you that were here the other night saw the affection that they have for the Tampa Police Department. They know that these are the men and women that are out there for whom this is personal. They're not going home until we catch this guy. And they know that the only thing that stands between good and evil are the men and women of the Tampa Police Department. And so we are one team in this effort. We're not going to let the bad guy take over this neighborhood. This is our neighborhood. This neighborhood belongs to the people who live here and who pay taxes. It should be a neighborhood where kids can walk freely. It's going to be a neighborhood on Halloween where they can trick or treat safely. But we intend to be out here, and they intend to be out here until we catch this person. Let me introduce our Chief, Brian Dugan.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to thank the media for all your assistance and your help in this. It's very important. You have been phenomenal in your assistance in getting the word out. I'd like to thank the mayor and his staff, the other city departments. You know, this has not been just TPD alone. They have really stepped up and helped us out with, you know, the things that the mayor just talked about, what's going on in the neighborhood. It's great support that I've received from other department directors. And, you know, the mayor has just had the cops back the entire time. And it's very important. It's not insignificant. We have been able to focus on the investigation, and they have handled everything else. And it's been a tremendous help. And I cannot speak enough about the neighborhood. The people in this neighborhood have been so encouraging, and they're coming outside. They're not afraid. And it's just been inspiring to our cops, the way they have handled this thing and the way the neighborhood has responded and rallied behind each other and rallied behind the cops. I would like to stress again that if you have a home video camera system and we have not reached out to you, please give us a call and we will come see you. We have Project Rec, which is a way to register your camera system with us. We now have over 200 people registered, and people are calling every day to do that. Anyone in this neighborhood that still has a home video surveillance system that we have not reached out to you or we have not found, please call us. You could provide valuable information.
All right. We'll take any questions.
I actually have a question for the chief. You have officers going door to door.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You have officers going door to door in Seminole Heights. How many homes are they going to? And this may be an obvious question. Why are you out there going to each door asking them critical information about who lives there?
I don't have the exact numbers of how many we've hit yet, but we are going door to door. We're asking them, do you have a camera system? Have you seen anything? We're asking them who lives there. It's important information. We want to know who's in these neighborhoods and what's going on. And we have to make that personal contact because, you know, there's a potential, it's highly unlikely, there's potential that somebody isn't aware of what's going on. I know there's been a lot of coverage, but we cannot risk the chance that somebody is so busy in their life that they haven't seen any coverage on this. And so we're going to knock on their door and make sure they're aware of what's going on in their neighborhood.
Have you been getting a lot of tips, and are you any closer to sort of closing in on this potential suspect?
Well, when you get the tips, and yes, we're getting some tips, it takes time to run those down. And so are we closer? Well, that depends how you want to define that. But the more we are able to eliminate things, that's what is helping us narrow down our search for whoever this may be.
What, if anything, did Eric Houston say to you guys?
Eric Houston called at 5:47 last night to one of our homicide investigators. And in my opinion, that was a wing and a prayer on his part. That was a Hail Mary pass. He said we should look into some person, an investigation he did a few years ago. He did this 12 hours before he was to be sentenced today. It was just, he gave us a name, we're looking into everything. It was insignificant. Like I said, it was just a Hail Mary pass on his part.
Question to the mayor.
Yeah, Mel.
The other night at the community meeting, did you feel as though it was a bit of a turning point? I mean, this is really breaking the hearts of citizens, but it was almost as if it was a rally and a battle cry from people in this neighborhood, and it sort of felt like there was a shift. Did you feel that?
I did. What I saw there was a community that was unwilling to cower, a community that was unwilling to surrender, a community that, with a little inspiration, would recognize that there is strength in numbers and that there is power in that commonality of purpose. What I saw was a community that may have been kicked to the curb temporarily, but this was a community that was going to get back up. And this was a community that, although they may be scared and although they may be fearful, fear is not going to triumph. They're going to triumph, and they're going to be out here on the streets, regardless of whether or not they're petrified, but they're going to take back their streets. And so you could feel it in the emotion of that crowd. You could sort of feel the body language change. You could feel the hope ratio go up. And for me, that's what makes me so proud of this place. And to know that not only are these men and women and the ones that you just saw right there out there willing to risk their lives, that the people who live here, they're not going to stand for that either.
Mayor, how unprecedented is it that we're turning to the citizens with video and going door to door? How unprecedented is it that this magnitude, looking for someone who's committed crime like this?
Well, I think we've never experienced a crime like this before. And so crimes like this call for unusual measures. The scope of these measures are much bigger than what we've ever done before, but so is the magnitude of the violence that we have just witnessed. And so for us, while this will be solved with good police work, it's also going to be solved with information that we get from the community. We need them as allies. We need them to believe in the men and women that are here. We need them to look out for them, but we also need them to tell us what they see. What you saw last night or 2 nights ago was a community that is bonded, a community that is united, a community that is our eyes and ears out here, and that's exactly what we would hope would happen.
How question for the chief, if you could step forward if you don't mind. As the days and time passes by, has it become even more difficult to solve this case? And again, what is your plea now to someone who may know something but they're afraid to come forward?
Well, I don't think we have anyone who's afraid to come forward. The neighborhood response and the backing of the police has been phenomenal. This is not a neighborhood that has these type of crimes. This is not a neighborhood that doesn't cooperate with the police. So I don't think that is the issue. I think the issue is potentially somebody knows something, but they may not realize it. And so that's where we stand. This is a good neighborhood, and the number of phone calls and the people are now coming out. They're talking to the cops. I don't think that's the issue. The concern is that somebody knows something and they're not aware of it.
And then when you talk about as more time passes by, are you sort of concerned that this could possibly become a cold case, or is it too early to tell?
It's way too early to tell. We have so much to go through. You know, we traditionally, the way we operate is when you have a crime, you'll knock on doors and find out, you'll survey the neighborhood of what's going on. We're now, we've expanded that tremendously and are hitting a tremendous number of homes, like I said earlier, just to make sure there's not something we're missing.
Chief, any luck with the video from October 9th? The individual seen in that video that you said you wanted to talk to? You got any closer there?
We are still looking for that individual, and we're still reviewing that video to see if there's anything more we can dig out of that.
Chief, what about patrols during the day and night? Some people we spoke with are a little concerned. They saw a lower level of visible police presence today versus yesterday during the day. how are you approaching patrols 24/7?
Well, when I hear that, that's tough to tell. I don't know why somebody didn't see a cop. I mean, they're out here, I assure you of that. And, maybe they were on a different street, a different block. I don't know. You never just can tell when things match up or not. But I assure you that we are out here.
Chief, what can you tell us about ballistic evidence from the homicide?
We're not releasing any information on that.
The city worker that found Monica, what was she doing at the time? What department?
That was probably Clean Cities.
That was I believe it was a contractor.
Was it?
Yeah, that lot, the city pays for that lot to be cut, and that's when she was found, for the grass to be cut.
Chief, do you feel comfortable yet calling this a serial killer?
No, we have purposely avoided that tag because I don't want people to stereotype. I don't want people to narrow their search. We don't have enough information for those type of labels. When you have 3 murders within such close proximity and time frame, that's why we have linked these together. And we have not used that label because we don't want people to focus in and start being closed-minded and looking at one specific type of stereotype that people may have when you throw a label on something.
Chief, you were all searching a home on North 17th Street. Is that connected into this case?
It's not connected at all. What that was a, are you talking about the 1700 block of New Orleans?
East New Orleans and 17th.
What that was, there was a shooting, I don't have the time frame, but it was quite some time ago. We are digging up every case that's in this area that might lead to something, reinvestigating, and that's what that was. And unfortunately, it had nothing to do with this case whatsoever. But that's how meticulous this has gotten, where we're digging up every little thing to see if we missed anything.
As Halloween approaches, what are you telling families about going out trick-or-treating and that kind of thing?
But here's my thoughts on Halloween. Used to be, when I was a kid, that was one of my favorite time of year. It still is. I don't think there's anything better in my mind as a kid between Halloween and Christmas. And I will be out there on Halloween night. It's so disappointing to hear that kids might be scared to go out. I'm going to go out there. I'll be personally on patrol. And you know what? If somebody wants to walk with me, they can walk with me. I'll walk with their family and get candy with them. I might even take some of their candy. But it's interesting that you brought that up, and I always stress that I want people to think about the families. Okay, I think about Benjamin, and I think about Monica, and I think about Anthony. And today, Christmas is 8 weeks away. We're 2 months away from Christmas. And these are 3 families that are going to wake up Christmas morning without their loved ones. And that's not something that should be taken lightly. It's very important that we remember these families, keep them in our thoughts, and that's what's driving everybody to bring this to a conclusion.
Chief, the governor said he called you on Monday. What did you tell him?
I spoke to the governor, yes it was Monday morning. He has pledged the assistance of Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the Florida Highway Patrol. Governor Scott and Mayor Buckhorn have a phenomenal relationship, and I know that they always are discussing all kinds of different things. So it was very kind of him to do that. And but the bottom line is, we know we can always count on Governor Scott. He didn't even need to call and remind us.
He called me as well on Monday too.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
Everybody.